Mondays through Fridays, 3:30 to 4:30 p.m. in the newsroom. You can't afford to miss it.
Our former president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, who was in the saddle for 6 years, Dr. Goodluck Jonathan, has said that Nigerians' votes may not count until there are certain reforms as far as our electoral processes are concerned. Good evening and welcome to the newsroom.
Thank you for having me today.
Yeah, that is it. Former President Goodluck Jonathan had on the need for Nigeria to have some reforms in its electoral processes. He was actually critical about how our system, through our electoral processes and systems, threw up leaders anyhow. What do you say to that?
Yeah. Well, I read the submission by the former president of Nigeria, Goodluck Jonathan. He was saying that he was trying to explain why Nigerian vote can't count, and why it cannot be accurate. But at a point, he was trying to urge whoever is in the saddle as the chairman of the electoral umpire to resist pressure, and whereby he could not resist pressure, he should try to resign. But then he went further to identify the involvement of ghost voters as the reason why our votes can't count in this country. But the question we need to ask is that, who are the ghost voters? And who are the fathers of the ghost voters?
Okay, thank you. Ghost voters are those underage people who might have been mistakenly or deliberately registered as qualified voters, or in some cases where those who are not eligible to vote at all, just by one way or the other, get voters cards that do not belong to them, voters cards that do not bear their pictures or their names, and by connivance of some officials of INEC or security agencies are allowed to do what? To vote. So those are ghost voters.
Ghost voters. Or probably in a situation whereby the number of votes is more than the number of
registered voters. So in that case, we have.
But why do we have ghost voters in the country? You see, Goodluck Jonathan, I think he was trying to be one-sided in his explanation in his submission, because to me personally, if you don't need to blame INEC, and you don't need to blame anybody, you cannot even hold the INEC.
Before we go to that, let me ask a pertinent question as far as the subject is concerned. He was defeated in 2015, and in the submission, he was actually trying to make some allusions to that. If he knew there were ghost voters, if he knew he was ripped out, why did he go ahead the first time to congratulate the winner? And why did he refuse to challenge the outcome of the election in court? Even though he came out to say that his victory it's not worth the blood of anybody. Yes, we really love that, but at least challenge the outcome. Even if eventually you will still be pronounced the loser of the vote of the election. So you cannot go ahead with it.
You see, I think the former president was not exhaustive enough.
Okay.
He was trying to urge whoever is INEC chairman to try to resist pressure, and in a situation where he could not resist, he resign. But let's look at what happened during the Babangida era. You remember the Professor Thenewsroom was the chairman of NEC there. And the man was at the point of getting victory for all he did. Somebody came out to annul the election. And when the man was trying to resist that pressure, the man was being pressurized to change the result of the election. And when he was trying to resist the pressure, you know what happened to him?
He was threatened.
He was threatened. He was withdrawn from the seat, forcefully incarcerated then. and he was beaten, brutalized by the soldiers.
That was the military era.
That was the military
But that cannot happen now.
Who says?
That it could be, pretty difficult for that to happen. But the question we have, because I read the submission too, former President Goodluck Jonathan was trying to cite an example of Ghana, of Liberia, of Senegal. Either we like it or not, some of these countries are not as big as even Oyo State.
Yeah.
Some of them are not as big as just Southwest Nigeria.
And some of them are not, even apart from being big, some of them they are not as heterogeneous
as Nigeria is. So at times, one feels disappointed when people want to compare Nigeria to Ghana, to Liberia, to Senegal. A country with a population of 56 million, 2 million, compared to a country of more than 200 million people. So if such countries can organize election, everything, start voting, can they vote in less than 12, 16 hours. But it's difficult for such things to happen in Nigeria. That is it. And it was as good as saying that even without technology, these countries, they conducted their election and it was, free.
With limited
technology. Exactly. In Nigeria too, we are using limited technology. There are areas where these beavers will do what? Will fail.
Yes.
And with
network problem.
Everything. And we will have to resort to manual system of voting. So that is it. That is just it.
And another thing that we have to look at is the attitude of our politicians. You see, Nigeria is a country where individual will still want to perpetuate himself in power, even if that person is losing the election. So in that kind of situation, what do you want INEC to do? And in that kind of situation, who is to blame? Is it the inordinate ambition of politicians or
INEC?
The INEC? Those are the issues that we have in this country that will not, allow the votes, people's votes to count. So, but I think maybe because of the circumstance of that, because he was giving that speech at the forum.
Yes, I understand.
So he might not have time. So I won't blame him. He might not have
to expatiate, to explain,
and exhaust all that needs to be exhausted. Concerning our electoral system in this country.
One other thing is that we have to know that there is nowhere in the world where the electoral system is 100% perfect.
No.
But out of Africa, just raises, some questions.
Yeah.
Why do we have to be, going to court all the time? Even for election that will be conducted within 10 hours, we still have to do what? Have to go to court. But at times, there are cases where some officials of INEC too are blamable. They are culpable.
It's true. Yes.
Yes, when they connive with some politicians to do certain abracadabra, and the other party has all the proofs, all the evidence that this is what INEC has done in the case of a presidential election or gubernatorial, election. So we cannot really wash INEC clean of all these, electoral malfeasance. Yes, we may not be able to blame the chairman of INEC, that is Professor Mahmoud Yakubu. Yes, because it cannot be everywhere. There are cases where professors of universities with more than 30 years of experience will be made rep. And you still see blatant mistakes, blatant, errors. You see what do we call this in election? When you want to contest and you have somebody to stand in for you. You see them complaining that what I signed and the polling unit is not what REC is reading out. Yes, I signed 21 and 42, and you see REC reading out 19 and 42. And before, if such a person decides to make any noise, you see the security agencies warning and trying to, bungle the person out of.
Now, you see, what we should be more concerned about is the way out of this, because you recall that over the years, the court, the judiciary has been playing a prominent role in determining who actually rule us in this country. You know, so if people's vote are not count, I mean,
do not count. So
then
who produces our leaders?
Yes, it is the God. Now I think what Goodluck Jonathan was talking about is that it's not the actual vote
That
that produces our leaders. It is more of judiciary than the actual vote that we So in that area, we'll now be discussing that, okay, how do we get out of this? Well, I mean, how long will Nigeria continue with this? How long can we continue before we now make our vote count?
I think we will get out of it when we all see politics as not a do or die affair. As long as we see politics as a do or die affair, we want to do everything possible to retain the seat. That is it.
Okay, in this regard, whom do we appeal to?
We appeal to the politicians. We appeal to Nigerians. Even we appeal to we journalists too.
Okay.
Because everybody, we are quick to put all the blames at the doorstep of politicians.
Politicians, yes.
You can imagine somebody be sworn in as a local government chairman or as a councillor, and you see these people visiting him, telling him, this is your time. You don't have less than 3 years old. You know, you are not a landlord yet. That is it. So if the person has spent, let's say, 3 years or 36 months, and by 38 months he has not completed his mansion, he will want to recontest to retain the seat at all costs. Yes, he won't want people to say, oh, after serving the 3 years of councillor or chairman, you cannot afford a car. That is it. So until we see politics as service to people, beyond that, politicians will continue to collude with INEC officials and with security agencies to perpetrate electoral fraud.
In order to get to position of power.
Number two is maybe someday we will all get to know that politics should be a part-time thing. You have your job. When it is time for you to sit for a particular number of hours, you go there, you sit, you deliberate, you connect to the allowance, and you go. And people have been saying this for more than 20 years now.
Yes, but I'm afraid, can we really have that situation in this country?
It's not that it is nothing that is
now that politicians are making politics a full-time business.
A do or die thing.
And it's because it is a full-time business for most of them.
That is why they make it a do or die affair.
Now, can we now have a situation where we have part-time
yes, it is possible, but unfortunately, those who make the laws are those who have already made it a business. Yes, you listen to some politicians and will be telling you, politics is paid you the law. Politics is more profitable even than theft or robbery. That is it. Because you reap where you do not sow. That is it. When you are given 450 million to produce 100 toilets, and you produce 50 or you produce 25 or you even beat 10, and you pocket the money, who asks you questions? Nobody. And we too, as voters, we believe in 10,000 on election day. We believe in 15,000 on election day, 5,000 on election day. I will continue to say, hey, go and collect yours, because you don't know what you are going to get for the next 4 years. So go and get yours. But those are the people who see gains of politics from the point of view of what goes into their mouth. But I think we must see it beyond that. We are not politicians, but if it's used to take me 25 minutes to drive from my home to office, and we now have good roads, as we have in Ocean, it now takes me 12 minutes to drive. So when
less than that.
When I used to drive 25 minutes to and fro, I would buy 5 liters, but now I buy 3 liters. That's a gain of democracy. That is politics. So until we voters too see it from that perspective, yes, we continue to say, please get my voter's card, give me 50,000. But for how long? 50,000, we buy 50 liters of petrol for now. So 50 liters Monday to Friday to the next month. I will, if I continue to come to work Monday to Sunday, I will exhaust 50 liters in 12 days.
I think what we need to do is to continue to appeal to all the relevant stakeholders
Exactly.
in the democratic system, the INEC, the politicians, the electorates, even the media.
Let me see, bring this one in now again. By the time I mention this, you may even resign that can this change in Nigeria. 3-4 years ago, a particular professional body in Nigeria, NBA to be specific, had is it a congress or what they have in Port of River State, where another group of executives will have to emerge. Lawyers were throwing chairs. On the election day, yes. Oh, did you say lawyers? Even NUJ elections in states. Don't we fight?
Yes. Yes.
Non-gay elections, don't they fight? NMA elections, don't they fight? Don't they accuse each other of ensembling members' funds? Don't they drag each other to court? Members of ASU, don't they drag each other to court? But we are quick to put all the blames at the doorstep of what? Of politicians. That is the problem. Because I cannot imagine, members of NBA throwing chairs.
You see, from what we have just said now, one can see actually that, you see, the politicians are product of our society.
Of course.
And all these things we are saying are happening right in our society. So,
it means that a former president of NBA, Kayode, former president of NBA contested last gubernatorial election in Edo State. That is it. A former president of NBA national contested gubernatorial election as a gubernatorial candidate of a particular party. That is to substantiate what you said, that the politicians are a product of society too.
Now, what is the way out there? Because there must be a solution to this problem. It's a problem. It's a problem.
It's a canker as well.
Do we have to undergo a kind of value reorientation, or what is it?
We should. We will. But I quickly think about, God help the president, if the review of minimum wage continues every 33 years, up to the point that as a level 12 officer, for instance, I'm earning more than 500,000, and I get to know that a councillor is earning 520, where will I have to join politics?
No.
If as a level 12 officer I'm earning 500,000, and a councillor is earning 520, why will I? Or even as a level 8 officer,
so
as a fresh
what you are saying in this sense is that there should be a way to make politics less attractive.
That is it. You make it less attractive and you pump money into civil service. That is it. If as a level 8 officer I start my time, hey, my first salary is 280,000 as a level 8 officer, why would I have to go and join politics? And by the time I rise to level 15, 16, I am earning close to $1 million in a month as a civil servant. As a teacher, you can imagine somebody who is a school principal, earning 1.2 million. I can now tell you, as a local government chairman, you'll be earning 1.4 million. So I will retire on 1.2 million. I will now go and so that is it. We make politics less attractive
and make some other professions more attractive.
More attractive, that is it. By the time the government at any level does that, we will not be killing each other
because of power,
because of funds, because of money. It's as simple as that. You can imagine many people now in civil service. All of us are now thinking of when we leave service, we should go into politics. Why? If I'm able to save from my level of 12 to 16 or 17, I'm able to save some 25 million naira before I retire. Oh, why? And you have produced children who can even feed you. Why would I have to be running helter skelter because I want to purchase a form for a seat, purchase a form for 5 million naira? You still have to go and borrow as much as 50 million naira to prosecute an election as a councillor. And by the time you get in, all you want to do, you are not even sure that you will win. Well, that is it. Dr. Goodluck Ebele Jonathan we cannot say he is all wrong. Yes, he has made some valid points. We will know that one day our votes in Nigeria we can't, and we will have leaders who will make politics less attractive, so that whoever wants to go into it will know that, okay, I am going into it in order to serve my people. That brings the conclusion to this edition of the Thenewsroom On Osbc Television. My colleague has been Kayode Adebayo. Join our colleagues tomorrow on another edition. Good evening.